I'm still scanning the area as much as I can with the thermals while trying to also juggle my flashlight so that I could get through this terrain. And all of a sudden, it suddenly disappears.
Russell Acord's story isn't just about Bigfoot. It's about a chilling brush with the unknown that nearly cost him everything.
Are you in position?
Yeah.
Parati.
On a dark, moonless night, Russell stood alone in the woods, facing heavy footsteps and an unearthly stench that froze him in place. With each step deeper into the forest, the risk grew greater, but the team's determination never wavered. Tune in as one man's unyielding bravery brings him face to face with an enigma so profound, the very fabric of reality trembles. Mireya's scientific adventure. Mireya's credentials were impressive. Known as the female Indiana Jones, she had trekked through remote jungles, discovered the world's smallest primate, and made a name for herself as a no-nonsense scientist. Joining the hunt for Bigfoot was a surprising twist even for her. She approached the mission with skepticism, but kept an open mind, determined to let the evidence lead her conclusions. Her involvement added a layer of credibility to the endeavor, elevating it beyond mere folklore. Then deep in the forest, she saw something that changed everything. The discoveries came fast and furious. During one expedition, Mireya and Bryce stumbled upon a bizarre tree structure deep in the woods. Towering at 15 feet, this wasn't just a random pile of logs.
This entire forest floor with seismic sensors, but nothing is going off. Is it possible that whatever I saw is actually using the trees to avoid them?
The structure was meticulously crafted with massive logs, some weighing over 200 pounds, arranged in intricate patterns. It looked like a shelter, far too intentional to be the work of nature. Bryce was thrilled, speculating it could be a Bigfoot home, while Mireya remained cautiously analytical, seeing it as an opportunity to collect DNA samples rather than leap to conclusions. The structure wasn't just impressive because of its size. Upon closer inspection, the logs appeared to have been woven together with surprising precision. It wasn't a haphazard pile, but rather something that required significant strength and deliberate effort. This discovery sparked heated debates within the team. Could a known animal have created such a formation? Or was this evidence of something entirely new? As the team pressed on, they gathered hair samples, recorded eerie sounds, and even encountered an overwhelming stench that hinted at something unusual nearby. The evidence was mounting, but the creature remained elusive. Recognizing that their approach needed adjustment, the team devised a new plan. Instead of chasing Bigfoot, they would let it come to them. Russell, ever the brave volunteer, stepped into the role of bait. With cameras trained on him, Russell ventured deeper into the dense forest. The atmosphere grew tense as heavy footsteps echoed in the distance, and an unidentifiable odor filled the air.
Right now I'm looking for anything that puts out a heat trace that would be moving on the screen anywhere near or around this water source.
The crew watching from a safe distance spotted a shadowy figure moving rapidly toward Russell. The tension was palpable. Russell stood his ground, relying on his instincts and years of experience. But just as suddenly as the figure appeared, it vanished, leaving behind only broken branches and unanswered questions. The excitement didn't end there. During another expedition, Russell's camera captured a game-changing moment. While scanning the area, he spotted a dark, fur-covered figure standing upright and walking away. This wasn't a bear, and it certainly wasn't human. The creature's movements, posture, and balance were unlike anything they had seen before. Replay after replay of the footage left the team buzzing with speculation. Was this the moment they'd been waiting for? The intrigue deepened with the lab results. DNA samples collected from the strange tree structure and its surroundings revealed traces of primate DNA, specifically a species of chimpanzee. The problem? Chimpanzees don't live anywhere near the region. This puzzling discovery raised more questions than answers. Was this evidence of an undiscovered species, or was there another explanation? Mireya's skeptical nature kept the team grounded. She reminded them that science demanded irrefutable proof.
Russ, I just heard something coming towards me, and all of a sudden leaves just started dropping with absolutely no wind. Have you seen anything?
Blurry videos and peculiar DNA findings were intriguing, but far from conclusive. Still, the discoveries hinted at something extraordinary lurking in the wilderness, just out of reach. For Mireya and the Expedition Bigfoot crew, this wasn't just a search for a mythical creature. It was a journey into the unknown, blending science, technology, and sheer determination. They poured their hearts into the mission, knowing that every step brought them closer to unraveling a mystery that had captivated imaginations for generations. Whether they ever found definitive proof or not, one thing was certain. Their story would stand as a testament to the spirit of exploration and the enduring allure of the unexplained. One of the most intense moments came when Russell volunteered to go solo into a particularly dense section of the woods, hoping to draw the creature out. The crew watched nervously as he disappeared into the shadows, guided only by their radio communications. The forest seemed alive with sounds, cracking branches, rustling leaves, and heavy breathing that wasn't Russell's. Then the unthinkable happened. A massive shadow darted between the trees, heading straight for Russell. The crew shouted warnings through the radio, but by the time Russell turned to face the threat, it was gone. The team's cutting-edge equipment also played a crucial role. Using environmental DNA, eDNA technology, they collected samples from soil, water, and even the air around suspected Bigfoot activity. This method allowed them to detect genetic material from any creature that had been in the area. When the results came back, the data revealed the presence of species that shouldn't have been there, adding another layer of mystery to their findings. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the Expedition Bigfoot crew never wavered in their determination. Each member brought their unique expertise to the table, creating a dynamic team that combined hard science with an adventurous spirit. Their journey wasn't just about finding Bigfoot, it was about pushing the boundaries of exploration and challenging the limits of what we think we know about the natural world. What would he find, or what would find him? The Expedition Bigfoot journey. The adventure continued with countless sleepless nights, grueling hikes through unforgiving terrain, and moments of sheer terror as they followed every lead, no matter how faint. Mireya's analytical approach balanced Bryce's enthusiasm, while Russell's bravery inspired the entire team to keep going, even when the odds seemed stacked against them. One of their most promising finds came during an expedition in a remote part of the Pacific Northwest. The team discovered a series of massive footprints, each measuring over 16 inches long. The prints were fresh, leading them to believe they were hot on the creature's trail. As they followed the tracks deeper into the forest, the sense of anticipation was electric. Every sound, every movement in the shadows felt like it could be the breakthrough they'd been waiting for. As they expanded their investigation, the team began using infrared and thermal imaging to detect movement at night. These tools provided valuable insights, capturing heat signatures that were difficult to explain. On one occasion, they detected what appeared to be a large, upright figure moving through the trees. The images weren't clear enough to confirm its identity, but they added another piece to the puzzle. The team also collaborated with local experts in indigenous communities who shared stories and knowledge passed down through generations. These accounts often described encounters with large, hairy creatures that bore striking similarities to Bigfoot. While these stories couldn't be considered scientific evidence, they provided context and cultural significance to the team's work.
I got Ronnie and Mireya on their way on the outside of this lake on both sides. They've actually separated. They both are equipped with thermal imaging to monitor any of the areas I can't see.
Throughout their journey, the Expedition Bigfoot crew faced criticism from skeptics who dismissed their findings as coincidence or misinterpretation. But for the team, the search wasn't about convincing everyone. It was about exploring the unknown and uncovering truths that might challenge conventional wisdom. Mireya often emphasized that groundbreaking discoveries require an open mind and a willingness to question assumptions. The search for Bigfoot was about more than just finding a creature. It was a quest to understand the unknown, to push the boundaries of science and explore the edges of human curiosity. For the Expedition Bigfoot team, the journey itself was the reward. Every clue, every near miss brought them closer to understanding a mystery that had captured the imagination of generations. While definitive proof remained out of reach, the Expedition Bigfoot crew's adventures left an indelible mark. They showed that with courage, determination, and a willingness to embrace the unknown, even the wildest legends could be explored. Whether Bigfoot is ever found or not, their story stands as a testament to the power of curiosity and the enduring allure of the unexplained. With every expedition, the team's understanding of the wilderness deepened. They learned to interpret subtle signs in the environment, from broken branches to faint trails that suggested the passage of a large creature. Their methods combined traditional tracking techniques with advanced technology, creating a unique approach that bridged the gap between folklore and science. The discoveries they made, though inconclusive, hinted at the possibility of something extraordinary. From the massive tree structures to the puzzling DNA results, each finding added a new layer to the mystery. The team's dedication and resilience were a testament to the human spirit of exploration. They reminded us that even in an age of satellites and smartphones, the world still holds secrets waiting to be uncovered. The search for Bigfoot was more than a hunt for a mythical creature. It was a journey of discovery, both outward into the wilderness and inward into the limits of human understanding. The Expedition Bigfoot cruise story inspires us to keep asking questions, to keep exploring, and to never stop searching for the unknown. Russell Acord had always been a guy who thrived on the unusual. His obsession with Bigfoot started way back when he was just a kid, glued to a grainy old film showing a big, hairy creature stomping through the woods. That one clip, the Patterson-Gimlin film, flipped a switch in his head. Suddenly, Bigfoot wasn't just a silly story people whispered around campfires. It was something real, something he had to figure out. Fast forward a few decades, and Russell found himself in the thick of the action with Expedition Bigfoot, chasing after the mystery that had haunted his thoughts for years. He wasn't your average adventurer. The wilderness was like a second skin to him. He thrived there. But even for someone as experienced as Russell, the woods had a way of playing tricks on the mind.
Maria, that's a negative. I've not seen anything.
It's no surprise that Maria's already getting a lot of activity on the other side of that lake.
Days would blur into weeks as he trekked through remote forests where the only sounds were the rustle of leaves or the occasional cry of some unseen animal. Those long stretches of quiet made him think, was Bigfoot real, or was he just chasing a dream cooked up by his childhood imagination? That nagging question gnawed at him, but it didn't stop him from pushing deeper into the unknown. And then there were the clues, or at least what seemed like clues. One time, Russell and his team stumbled across footprints so massive they seemed cartoonish. Each print was over 16 inches long and pressed deep into the ground like something incredibly heavy had just passed through. Finding those tracks was both thrilling and creepy. If these were real, what kind of creature could have made them? And, more unsettling, how close had they been to it? Russell felt a rush of adrenaline as they documented everything, but he also couldn't shake the feeling that the woods were hiding something much bigger than they could see. Being the team's survival expert meant Russell had to take on the tough jobs. One of the most nerve-wracking tasks was acting as bait. That's right. He'd go out alone into the darkest parts of the forest, armed with nothing but a camera and his instincts. On one particular night, everything felt off. The forest seemed alive in a way that made his skin crawl. He heard twigs snapping in the distance, heavy footsteps that didn't sound like any animal he knew, and an awful stench that made his stomach turn. Then he saw it, a shadowy figure moving through the trees. It was there 1 second and gone the next, leaving only broken branches and a gut punch of unease. That moment stuck with him, not just as a scare, but as a reminder of how little he really knew about what's out there. Each clue pulled them deeper into the unknown, but doubt and danger grew stronger with every step, the struggles of the Bigfoot hunt. The world's opinion of his work didn't make things any easier. Chasing Bigfoot wasn't exactly something people respected. Most dismissed it as nonsense, a wild goose chase for fools. But Russell didn't care about the critics. For him, it wasn't about proving anyone wrong. It was about uncovering the truth. He'd meet people at conferences who'd share their own weird stories, their eyes wide with the same mix of excitement and fear that he'd felt as a kid. Those interactions reminded him why he started this journey, even if the skeptics' snide comments still stung a bit. Even among his own team, There was this constant tug-of-war between belief and doubt. Russell had a no-nonsense approach. He wanted hard evidence. He wasn't about to declare Bigfoot real without solid proof, and that sometimes put him at odds with others who were quicker to jump to conclusions. Still, his cautious mindset kept the group grounded. He knew one bad call could make years of work look like a joke, and he wasn't about to let that happen. But the search wasn't just about science. It also came with ethical dilemmas. The team often stumbled across bizarre tree structures or strange heat signatures that seemed promising. But how far were they willing to go to get answers? Russell believed in respecting the wilderness and whatever lived in it, whether it was a known animal or something entirely new. That's why he'd push back against overly aggressive methods. For him, the hunt for Bigfoot wasn't just about finding the creature. It was about doing it in a way that respected the mystery itself. Over time, though, the whole thing started to take a toll. The endless nights in the forest, the grueling hikes, and the constant anticipation of something just out of reach. It all wore on him.
I would like to get Ronnie and Maria to scan this. That combined with the smaller prints in the mud down below, we have to bring them in.
What once felt like a thrilling challenge sometimes became overwhelming. The forest, which had always been a place of comfort for him, could suddenly feel suffocating. Its vastness was a reminder of just how small he was in the grand scheme of things. But even in those dark moments, Russell found a way to keep going. The idea of finding even one undeniable piece of evidence was enough to keep the fire in his belly burning. To fully capture Russell's journey, we'd have to dive deeper into the details of his expeditions. Each trip into the wilderness brought its own set of challenges and odd occurrences. The eerie silence that blanketed the woods at night, broken only by inexplicable sounds, played with his nerves in a way few could understand. Nights spent in makeshift shelters, staring into the darkness and waiting for any sign of movement, gave him a lot of time to think. The loneliness of the wild made him question everything: his mission, his sanity, and even his purpose. But those doubts were always tempered by his relentless curiosity. Even the environment itself seemed to conspire against them. Weather could turn in an instant, with torrential rain transforming trails into muddy quagmires, or unexpected snowfalls blanketing the ground and erasing any potential tracks. Russell's survival skills were put to the test time and again, from foraging for food to building shelters sturdy enough to withstand the elements. These hardships, though exhausting, became part of the adventure. Every challenge overcome felt like a small victory, a testament to his resilience and determination. Despite the physical demands, the psychological toll was perhaps the hardest to bear. The constant anticipation, the fleeting shadows, and the strange noises just out of sight created an undercurrent of unease that never really went away. Even when surrounded by his team, there was an unshakable sense of isolation. The vastness of the wilderness was both awe-inspiring and intimidating, a reminder of just how much of the world remains unexplored and unknown. But Russell's ability to channel that discomfort into motivation was what set him apart. Rather than letting fear control him, he used it as a tool to sharpen his focus. Public perception of their work added another layer of complexity. Skeptics were quick to mock their efforts, painting them as gullible or delusional. But Russell's interactions with witnesses and locals often told a different story. People who'd lived near these remote areas for years shared their own encounters. Unusual sounds, strange sightings, and inexplicable events. These stories, coupled with Russell's own experiences, created a tapestry of possibilities that made the search feel worthwhile, even in the face of ridicule. Over time, Russell's journey evolved into something much larger than the search for Bigfoot. It became a personal quest to explore the unknown and push the boundaries of what humanity understands about the natural world. The hunt brought him face to face with the limits of his own courage and perseverance, challenging him to grow in ways he never anticipated. It taught him the value of patience, the importance of teamwork, and the thrill of chasing questions that might never be fully answered. What if the real mystery isn't whether Bigfoot exists, but why we're so compelled to believe? Leave your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations into the unexplained.